Into the 70s, a new decade, and the story reverted to type. Once again, the Americans took command. Once again, they expected to win, and for a few more years they would. 2 years later, the Ryder Cup was played in Scotland for the first time. Muirfield was the venue, but the result made familiar reading. USA 19, GB&I 13. Bernard Hunt had taken over the home captaincy for a match which saw Peter Butler make Ryder Cup history. That, the first ever Cup ace. America won again in 1975 at Laurel Valley. Palmer was the American captain and expected 2 singles wins from Nicklaus. He didn't get them.
I'm not the greatest golfer in the world, not by a long, long way, but I am capable of shooting some half-decent scores. And it is match play, and as we all know, match play over 18 holes is sudden death. A couple of putts at the right time, you can beat anybody.
And that is exactly what Barnes did. He beat Jack not once, but went out and beat him a second time.
To the American team, who did a very outstanding job, even if Jack did lose 2 matches today to Brian Barnes. He doesn't mind, really.
Yes, I do.
He said yes, he does.
A humorous moment, but nobody was laughing about the state of the Cup match. After the US won 21-11 at Laurel Valley, there was genuine concern about its future. It was felt that something had to be done.
There was obviously that period through the 70s in particular, when the Americans were so strong and the match was so one-sided that it ceased to be a contest. And I think that perhaps there would have been a great danger of the match failing when Jack Nicklaus, who was a wonderful supporter of the matches, and Lord Derby, who was our president at the time, realised that, you know, something had to change.
At Royal Lytham in 1977, America were again comfortable winners, but there were signs that change was on the way. At Lytham, fans had a first chance to see Nick Faldo in Cup action, and he won all of his 3 games.
It was a great opportunity for me. I was a young whippersnapper with nothing to lose, and we went out and played and had a great time. I had a great partner, Oosty. That was the most important thing. First day we were 3 down after 9, and then won our match. And Oosty said, "Did you think we were going to lose?" I said, "No, even at 3 down." No. Next day we played Nicklaus and Floyd, and God, I never forget that. You know, obviously the first time to play with Jack, and then to win that, and then I played Watson, who was the Open champion, and beat him. So for me, it was you know, an amazing week. But in those days, you knew you were going to get beaten.
After the home defeat at Lytham, it was clear that something radical was required to keep the match alive. Now was the time for Nicklaus to step forward and suggest that opponents Britain and Ireland become Europe.
I guess I'm the one that went to John Darby, and I said, "John, it's unfortunate. The Ryder Cup is not a competition as much as you'd like it to be a competition. So the Americans come and win virtually every year. And if you're playing a European circuit now, why not bring the Europeans in?" He says, "Leave it with me, Jack." And then he carried it from there.
And I was asked to go and visit his lordship at Knowsley to get, if you like, the reaction and to get a process so that we could forward this. And he then arranged for Peter Butler and Brian Huggett to go and represent the European cause, if you like, at Augusta the next year, 1978. So Peter and Brian went with Lord Derby and made a fresh agreement with the PGA of America for the team to be broadened.
We supported bringing Europe in to make those matches closer, and today virtually every match comes down to the last 9 holes. So I think that was a pivotal spot in the history of the matches.
We believe that this will lead to greater competition and will soon end the long run of successes that the Americans have enjoyed in recent years.
After Lord Derby had announced the historic change, the first match between America and Europe took place in 1979 at the impressive Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia. There were many familiar faces in the lineup, but most significantly, there was now Severiano Ballesteros. Seve and Antonio Garrido took on Watkins and Larry Nelson. They lost, but it was the start of a new era.
I did have a good time playing alongside Antonio Garrido. It was a great competition, but not the excitement that we have right now. But at that time, it was just a fun competition.
Seve and Garrido did produce some memorable moments, but the fact was the presence of the two Spaniards was massively symbolic. They did manage to pick up a couple of points, but overall the American team were just too strong again. Jack Nicklaus may not have been around for the new style match, but another American stalwart, Lee Trevino, was. Along with a new breed of younger Americans, including Tom Kite. All had tremendous respect for the Ryder Cup.
It was still a serious butt whipping. There was no other way to put it. They were just, you knew what the outcome was going to be, and it was just a question of how badly we won it. But it was a lot of fun. It was great to be named on that team.
At the Greenbrier, the US won 17-11, and it didn't get any easier for the Europeans 2 years later at Walton Heath.
There have been a lot of good teams that have come around since that time, but that was kind of a who's who of professional golf at the time.
Only 9 have won majors. I thought they'd sent their best team. No, seriously, obviously the Americans are very, very strong, but I have tremendous faith in this team. They won't let us down, you'll see.
Indeed, the Europeans led after the first day, but the Americans' awesome strength and depth proved decisive.
They were scary. Your Trevino, your Jerry Pate, your Nicklaus, your Watson, Floyd, endless amount of named players, and you've nothing to lose. I mean, you're the underdogs in a way. I know you're playing your own country against them, but if you've nothing to lose, 18 holes, anybody can win.
Like that of his teammates, Lyle's performance was spirited enough, but in a low-scoring singles, even his brilliant golf couldn't hold Tom Kite.
A lot of birdies and eagles made out there that day, there's no question about it. It seemed like if Sandy wasn't making a birdie, I was making a birdie, or we were both making birdies on the holes.
I started off like a house on fire. I think I was 6 under after about 10, 11 holes, which is, and that course was quite a good start, and found myself level with them. Needed some putt after putt to putt and eagles and birdies, and I think there was like 17 or 18 birdies.
I don't know, it was just one of those days where we really had everything going. I think Sandy was 8 under par, and I think I was 10 under and closed him out 3-1, if I'm not mistaken.
The Europeans won only 5 of a possible 20 points over the last 2 days. Now it was time for a new man to take over.